My name's Caspar Walsh. I'm 46 years old. I was born and grew up in London and moved around England at different schools, and I now live in Devon, and I'm an author and a journalist, and I've set up a charity in 2008 primarily working with young people in prison, helping them transition into adulthood, find meaning and find the kind of work that they want to do and the life that they want to live. So I'd found my schooling really difficult up until the age of 15, and there'd been a lot of crime and violence and all kinds of things going on in my family life that made my schooling really difficult. And I got to the end of my schooling. My father had been in prison for 3 years, and he just got released and said that he had a certain amount of money to get me through my exams. If he spent that, then we'd be skint, or I could come out. So I took that option. So I basically hung out with my father. We started taking drugs together, and basically my education and my qualifications went out of the window at the age of 15. So it wasn't long after, probably about 9 months to a year after I came out of school with my father, that we were both arrested for dealing, and he got another 3-year sentence and I got a suspended sentence. So when he came out of prison when I was 18, we both basically got back into it together again. And that went on for another 3 years until we both got arrested for the final time, which was a major bust. And he was looking at 5 years. I think he was looking at 10 years and I was looking at about 5. So at the age of 21, I had a choice. And the choice was that I could actually make a play for rehab, because I had a drug and alcohol problem, a really serious drug and alcohol problem with my father. Or I could go down his route and just carry on with the crime and just carry on getting arrested. So I made a break and I went into treatment, and I went to live in Dorset, and I spent 3 years down there in rehabilitation from drug addiction and alcoholism. And then I made a decision that I wanted to go back to college, that I wanted to study and maybe take the exams and pass the exams that I never took when I flunked out at 15 to go and live with my father. And to my surprise, I was doing really well and I got very high grades. My whole experience of the education system to that point had been very negative, and that I was stupid. I didn't really have any intelligence, I didn't have anything to offer. But I went back, I realised that I was intelligent. I realised that I had something to offer, and that I could do, if I put my mind to it, I could do what I wanted to do. And that's what I started to do. I went into film and television and writing and all kinds of things, and I did really well at it because I wanted to do it, and no one was telling me, if you don't do it, you're going to get punished. What I've discovered in my work with prisoners is that, and this is a term that I hadn't heard until I started working with prisoners, is that there have been studies done, and that 95% of young adult prisoners, young male prisoners, are kinesthetic learners, which is quite a big word, but what it means is that they learn through the hands, through doing stuff, through mechanical, maybe it's art or playing an instrument or it's building cars or houses or whatever. And that in some way that's been downgraded, that's kind of like a secondary form of education, but they're very, very talented and very skilled at this. And so those guys have flunked out of school because they don't want to sit in front of desks. So those are the ones that I work with, are the young prisoners, because that's been my experience as a learner, as a lifelong learner, is that I learn from doing things, from interacting with the world and absorbing information from it, and the things that I do, the play, the work, the people, all of that is how I learn and grow.